Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Skyman. Welcome. By the way, it is extremely cold with the temperatures reading up to 14 degrees centigrade. I don't know where you are if the temperatures are that low. Welcome to Skyman. There are three factions that has emerged in William Samoei Ruto's government. And these factions has emerged as a result of a number of factors. There is that faction that is supporting William Samoei Ruto to label the Kikuyus as tribalists. And they tried to push a hashtag, but Kenyans rejected that hashtag. And it is very, very interesting because people baptized themselves and added Kikuyu's names, and others added other names from other communities. I called myself Gashi Arab Mashaba. And somebody was asking me why Arab Mashaba, and I told him it is sarcastic. It's just satire. Ladies and gentlemen, the function also believe that there are those Kikuyus who should actually be forced to support William Samoei Ruto. And that faction is there. There is another faction, no, that's the first faction, want William Samoei Ruto to use the sword. That is the funny thing about it. Use the sword, crush everybody, crush the opponent, crush the demonstrators. That is one faction. And you remember, Mutaigwenyi tweeted the other day, like 2 days ago, that William Samoei Ruto was given two things, the constitution and the sword. The constitution was to lead the country, and the sword was to defend the constitution. And he told him, it is now the time to use the sword. So that is the faction that I'm talking about. And it is very, very dangerous. Maybe you can name in the comment sections other leaders other than Mutahi Gunyi who strongly believe that William Samoei Ruto need to be ruthless, need to use the sword. There is another faction that believe that William Samoei Ruto need to follow the constitution, and they fear that William Samoei Ruto is falling into the hands of ICC, and they believe that arrest warrant can easily be issued against the government, especially the people who actually are in charge of the security. The other faction has remained to be neutral. Yani wao wanasema hawajui lipi baya lipi nzuri. And when you saw Moses Kuria bolting out of the government, it is because of these differences. The differences are huge, ladies and gentlemen. The differences have actually divided William Samoei Ruto's government down the middle. And what we are saying is that I want to focus on these factions because it is very, very interesting. And when you see Moses Kuria bolting out of government, some people say that he's bolting out to come and deal with Rigathi Gachagua. How can he deal with Rigathi Gachagua? I'm telling you, even Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, if you ask me today, cannot be able to deal with Rigathi Gachagua. He can't. That is the truth of the matter, because Rigathi Gachagua is actually the man who is controlling the Mulima nation. You know, what happened is that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was arrested, and if anything, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta retired. He's not interested in politics. He may be interested, yes, but he's not in active politics. So that's why Rigathi Gachagua is emerging, and there's no way Moses Kuria could deal with or can deal with Rigathi Gachagua. In fact, the man who had a better chance of dealing with Rigathi Gachagua was Dede Nyoro, but William Samoei Ruto was unable to utilize Dede Nyoro, and he was late. Today, even Dede Nyoro cannot be able to deal with Rigathi Gachagua. So this faction that believe that William Samoei Ruto need to use the sword believes that William Samoei Ruto should crush the Kikuyus. So sad that Kikuyu should not be spared, that Kikuyus are arrogant, that Kikuyus feel very much entitled. There's a feeling of entitlement. But if you ask me, I have no apologies for being a Kikuyu. I have no apology to anybody. In fact, I'm a proud Kikuyu. But let me say this. I believe in one Kenya. I believe that there are only two tribes in this country, the rich and the poor. I believe William Samoei Ruto, Sivili Kalonzo Musyoka, Raila Amolo Odinga, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, they belong to one tribe. All the other communities, all the other people belong to the same language. And these are the people who reach from heart to mouth. So it is nonsense to try to profile one community, that it is tribal, it is what. What we cannot deny is that Kikuyus are enterprising. That is the truth of the matter. And they are like kuchi grass. They easily spread. That's why you find them everywhere. From mortuaries, they are the majority. Even if you go to the diaspora, they are the majority. Wherever you go, they are the majority. I'm not saying that other communities are not enterprising. They are. But I'm talking about this faction that want to crush the Kikuyus. And the one that is selling the narrative that Kikuyus need to be crushed. Again, that group strongly believe that, that economic might of the Kikuyus must be destroyed. That make them poor so that they can obey you. When people are poor, they're able to follow anything. If Kenyans were able to meet their daily obligations, to pay their bills, pay the school fees, Medicare, and so on and so forth, you would not be seeing this kind of begging that you see. You could not be seeing the kind of hooliganism that you see in the country. So those who believe that the Kikuyu should be crushed financially, make them destroy their financial might so that you can be able to control them, it is not going to work. It is going to fail, and it will be very, very sad. Then the same team that believes that William Samoei Ruto need to use the sword believes that Rigathi Gachagua should be arrested. We have heard them. The other day, Sudi, and when Sudi speaks, it is William Samoei Ruto who is speaking. Sudi was saying that Rigathi Gachagua will soon be arrested. We are coming for you. He gave a video, I think, on Sunday. So this is the kind of faction I'm talking about. They are so arrogant, full of themselves. They speak with contempt. They do not obey the law. They do not obey the constitution. They are the law unto themselves. That is the truth of the matter. Again, this is a faction that believes and is the one that is unleashing goons. And these goons, I've always said, are being unleashed in Nairobi, Nyeri, Nakuru, Meru, Nyandarua, Murang'a, and so on and so forth. A friend of mine was telling me that the goons that were seen in Kagema were not people from the locals. They were not locals. They were strangers. So this faction that believe that the Kikuyu should be crushed are the same people who are actually sponsoring the goons. And they are doing it. Again, they believe that the Kikuyu should be denied job opportunities. Yeah, deny them job opportunities. So when it comes now, what happens? Politicians are usually given employment forms. And this is the truth of the matter. We have seen them dishing them in funerals. And when you look at the Kikuyu community, majority of them don't have anything. Hakuna, hawana. These forms are given. The jobs opportunities. Zile za polisi, zile za wapi, za walimu, nini. Majority of these jobs, hata kwa jeshi, majority of them are given to one community. The Kalenjin nation is eating the government, in court, eating the government. It's their time to eat. And although the other communities are given leftovers, akina Mudavadi wanapewa leftovers, even Raila anapewa leftovers, what is happening is that the Kikuyus are not getting it. That is the truth of the matter. This same faction that believes that William Samoei Ruto need to use the sword believes that the Kikuyu youth should be arrested. for participating in peaceful demonstrations. When you look at the way the demonstrations are crushed in the Kikuyu community, in Mount Kenya region, you agree with me that it is something that is deliberate. Very, very much deliberate. And the other thing is that this group that advocate for using the sword, believes that Kikuyus need to be taught a lesson. The Kikuyu should be taught a lesson. Which lesson? Sasa, mtu alipigana na mzungu, which lesson are you teaching him? You see, the truth of the matter is that this faction does not respect the constitution in any way. Hawajui human rights kusema nini. They believe that human beings have no rights. So according to them, even the Bill of Rights does not matter to them, as long as they are teaching Kikuyu a lesson. They say that they have a problem with the Kikuyus, but if you ask them, they don't have a problem. They don't have any problem. You know, hii mambo ya ukabila inaletwa na viongozi. That is the truth of the matter. When you come to the grassroots, you agree with me that huku mashinani Wakenya wanaongea kwa lugha moja. Wakenya wanaulizana ni wapi kuna kibarua, ni wapi kuna mjengo. That is the truth of the matter. Ni kampuni gani ambapo watu wanaajiriwa. That's the way we talk on the ground. But when you go on the top, they come with a tribal narrative. Tribalism and its ugly face. That is what they come and try to sell to us. Again, what is happening is that these people believe that even Raila should not be consulted when some decisions are made. That is the truth of the matter. You know, like Raila or hate him. But I would say this about Raila Amolo Odinga. Contrary to what many people think, Raila is not a tribalist. I can tell you, Raila is not a tribalist. That one I would defend Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga is not a tribalist. Look at his family. Married the Kikuyus. Look at Raila Amolo Odinga. His in-laws are from Murang'a. Look at Raila Amolo Odinga's office. You see, akina Mombi, Pale. There's so many Kikuyus in Capitol Hills, if those of you have been there. And I strongly believe, if Raila Amolo Odinga became the president, I'm sure this day that you are seeing, watu wangekufa, lakini yaliyopita si dwele, tukage yajayo. So what we are saying here, the consequences will be disastrous. Those who are telling William Samoei Ruto to use the sword, I'm telling you, the consequences will be disastrous. And the same people who pushed William Samoei Ruto to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. Look at the consequences. Today, William Samoei Ruto is regretting why he impeached Rigathi Gachagua. He's not happy. So kule kungatuka kwa Moses Kuria is just a tip of the iceberg. So what would be the consequences? One is that there will be massive resignation from William Samoei Ruto's government. Expect this to happen as we push towards 2027. By 2026, there will be massive walkouts from William Samoei Ruto's government. There will be stampede. Because you see, majority of them, because this faction is the minority. The one that believes William Samoei Ruto needs to use the sword, they are the majority, they are the minority. And they're the same people who are actually, they're the one who clap when William Samoei Ruto even start building a church. Even when he's making mistakes, they don't care. As long as they are eating, they don't care. So there'll be massive resignation. The other thing that is happening, and it will also happen, is that because there's a big faction in the government that does not believe that William Samoei Ruto should actually crush the Kikuyus, that he should destroy the Kikuyu businesses, what is happening? They are actually exposing William Samoei Ruto's dirty tricks. How are they doing it? They are sharing some information with the opposition. Sasa umewahi kujiuliza Gachagua anatoa hii mambo ya wapi? And Gachagua knows even when William Samoei Ruto is drinking tea. Gachagua knows even when William Samoei Ruto is going to the bathroom. That is the truth of the matter. These are the guys who actually give information, which is good in my view. So William Samoei Ruto is exposing himself because William Samoei Ruto seems to be agreeing with that faction that believes that the sword is the panacea to all the problems that is bedeviling William Samoei Ruto. Again, what is happening is that these guys, when you look at it, you realize that these days you don't find many people defending William Samoei Ruto. Have you ever asked yourself? There's some cabinet secretaries, they don't talk, they don't say anything. They're just there. Especially look at those who come from Mount Kenya, for example. Look at them. When did you last hear some of these? Let me not mention them. When did you last hear them talking? Because, for example, when you look at Mount Kenya, the only person you hear talking is the majority leader, Kimani Ichung'wah. Huyo ndio sasa anaongea. Hakuna mwingine anaongea. Majority of them have gone mute. They don't defend the government. They don't. And that is why you see Farouk Kibet now is taking the role. Sasa hapa beleni hatukuwa tukuona Farouk Kibet akiongea, but today Farouk Kibet is talking, giving orders. So the only person who has been left is the deputy president and Kimani Ichung'wah. But for the deputy president, he has no option. He must defend William Samoei Ruto. And if you look at Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, he usually repeats what William Samoei Ruto has been saying. Only that he uses different words, but the message has always been the same. Ladies and gentlemen, profiling Kikuyus is wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenyans are one. And even if you call me Kiprotich, if you call me Ajwang or Juang, whichever, I will remain Gashi Skyman. A rose by a different name would smell just as sweet. So goes the saying by none other than Shakespeare. Have a blessed day. Have a tribalist nation. Don't buy that idea. It is nonsense. It is backwardness to use tribal prism. Bye-bye.